Ryan Clark just lit a fire under the entire Cleveland Browns quarterback room, and it all centers around one name, Shedeur Sanders. On live TV, Clark didn't just make a hot take. He made a declaration, saying Shedeur is already better than Dylan Gabriel from a pure football standpoint, and that Kenny Pickett could be beat out halfway through the season. Let that sink in. This isn't clickbait. This is coming from a former NFL vet who's seen what it takes to win in a locker room. And he just told the world that Shedeur might be the Browns' best quarterback before he ever takes a snap. And if you've been watching the Browns closely, you know this changes everything. Because up until now, the media painted Shedeur as the flashy newcomer, the guy with NIL dollars, followers, and a famous last name. But Clark? He's talking about leadership, work ethic, and NFL readiness. He's not hyping Sanders for headlines. He's laying out the blueprint for how this kid can take. You want to talk about quarterback battles? This one just turned into a war. And in a few minutes, you'll understand exactly why Clark's breakdown might be the clearest roadmap yet to Shedeur Sanders becoming the next breakout QB in Cleveland. Because once you hear what's really going on inside Browns camp, it's not a matter of if Shedeur starts, it's a matter of when. It all went down on ESPN's Get Up, when Ryan Clark dropped the kind of quarterback analysis that made Browns fans pause their morning coffee. The topic? How Shedeur Sanders could realistically win the starting job in Cleveland. And what Clark said wasn't speculative, it was surgical. He broke it down plain and simple. Shedeur Sanders is already better than Dylan Gabriel. Not could be better, not has potential, already better. And then he kept going. He said Kenny Pickett can be beaten out halfway through the season. And Joe Flacco? Veteran presence, sure, but no one believes he's the long-term answer. Clark wasn't sugarcoating a thing. His tone was clear. This quarterback room is vulnerable. It's up for grabs. And Shedeur, despite being the youngest and newest guy in the building, has every tool to take over, if he plays it right. Even more shocking? Clark didn't base this on just talent. He based it on trajectory. He said Shedeur has the physical edge, the potential, and the moment to take over if he can lock in mentally and earn the locker room's respect. You don't hear that kind of breakdown from a former NFL player unless he really believes it. And make no mistake, Ryan Clark believes it. But what he said next, it wasn't just about talent. It was about the Browns' long history of quarterback failures and how Shedeur might be walking into the perfect storm. Let's be real, the Cleveland Browns quarterback room has been cursed for over 2 decades. Since 1999, it's been a revolving door of short-term answers, broken promises, and flameouts. And Ryan Clark wasn't afraid to say it outright. The only constant in Cleveland's QB situation is change. And that's not just a catchy line, it's the painful truth. Kenny Pickett was supposed to be the guy in Pittsburgh. Instead, he struggled with consistency, decision-making, and health. Now, he's been thrown into a new system in Cleveland with limited time to adjust, and the pressure is already mounting. Dylan Gabriel? He was productive in college, sure, but Clark made it clear. Nice college stats don't translate to NFL starter material. Gabriel might be accurate, but he lacks the arm strength, the poise under pressure, and the elite-level processing that Shedeur has already shown flashes of. And then there's Joe Flacco, the Super Bowl champ whose best years are long behind him. He might offer mentorship, but nobody sees him as the franchise's future. He's a bridge, nothing more. So, what does that leave? A locker room full of question marks, and one hungry rookie with the tools to answer them all. That's what Ryan Clark sees. That's what makes this moment different. Because while the veterans battle inconsistency, Shedeur Sanders is walking into chaos with clarity. And Clark thinks he has the perfect blueprint to take advantage of it. While the Browns shuffle quarterbacks like a deck of mismatched cards, Shedeur Sanders is stepping in with something they've lacked for years. True, raw, NFL-ready talent. Ryan Clark didn't just throw praise for headlines. He broke down the essentials. Shedeur's arm talent, his accuracy, his pocket awareness, all traits that translate immediately to the league. He even went so far as to say Shedeur has everything you want in a modern NFL quarterback. And he's right. Shedeur's tape at Colorado showed it all. Lightning-fast reads, confident throws under pressure, and an ability to stay cool, even behind a broken offensive line. He's poised, composed, and methodical even when the game breaks down around him. But here's what sets him apart. He's been coached like a pro since day one. Growing up under Dylan Sanders gave him a rare edge, football IQ far beyond his years, and a mentality built for the spotlight. Ryan Clark highlighted those intangibles. Not just the arm, not just the numbers, but the way Shedeur commands a huddle, absorbs the playbook, and leads by example. And when you compare that to Gabriel or Pickett, it's night and day. The moment might be too big for some rookies, but this is the moment Shedeur's been preparing for his entire life. And according to Clark, that moment is coming faster than anyone expected. For most rookies, making it to the NFL is enough, but for Shedeur Sanders, that's just step one. According to Ryan Clark, Shedeur's shot at QB1 won't be handed to him, no matter how much buzz he brings. The real battle? Winning the locker room. Clark made it crystal clear. This league doesn't care about hype, name, or NIL deals. It cares about results. And more importantly, about respect. You can't just walk into a locker room full of grown men, some with a decade in the league, and expect them to follow you. You have to earn it. That's where Shedeur's real test begins. Clark emphasized that Shedeur has the skill, the poise, and the brain. But to win QB1 in Cleveland, he'll need to show humility, work ethic, and leadership off the field. No cameras, no social clips, just grinding in silence and letting that work speak volumes. Because in Cleveland, the veterans have been through hell. They've seen broken systems, losing seasons, and empty promises. So they're not following some flashy new rookie just because he went viral in college. They'll follow the one who puts in the time, the one who stays late, the one who out-prepares everyone else in the room. And Ryan Clark believes Shedeur is exactly that type of guy. But even if he earns the team's respect, there's still one massive hurdle that could blow the whole thing up. Shedeur Sanders might be built for the NFL, but there's one thing standing between him and that starting job, and it has nothing to do with his talent. It's politics. Ryan Clark didn't dance around it. He flat out said what most analysts won't. Sometimes NFL decisions aren't about who's best. They're about who's paid. And that's where Shedeur's path gets murky. Kenny Pickett? He's not just a backup fighting for reps. He's a former first-round pick with millions tied to his development. The front office doesn't want to admit they made a mistake. Benching him early would mean conceding failure, and that's something GMs don't do lightly. Even Dylan Gabriel has a safe narrative. Smart, accurate, coachable. He fits the mold of a clipboard-holding rookie that fans can tolerate while the veterans struggle. It's a comfortable choice. But Shedeur? He's disruptive. He brings noise. He brings attention. He flips the old-school playbook on its head. And some execs aren't ready for that. There's even talk that his massive NIL brand and media savvy could rub old-guard decision-makers the wrong way. As if confidence is a threat, Clark warned that no matter how good Shedeur looks in camp, he might not get the nod. Not because he isn't ready, but because the NFL isn't. But that's the thing about Shedeur Sanders. He's never needed permission to succeed. And what he did next proved that he's not waiting around for anyone's approval. While critics dissect his chances and front offices play politics, Shedeur Sanders is doing what he's always done, letting the work do the talking. And his response to all the noise? Silence. Focus. Grind. When Ryan Clark spoke about Shedeur, it wasn't just the mechanics or the IQ, it was the way Shedeur carries himself. No panic, no drama, just confidence that comes from preparation. While most young quarterbacks chase validation, Shedeur is building something bigger. A system, a standard, a legacy. He's not on social media begging for respect. He's in the film room, on the practice field, leading by example. And he's doing it with the patience of someone who's playing chess while the rest of the league is stuck on checkers. Clark emphasized that what truly separates Shedeur is his maturity. He's not begging for the spotlight. He knows he is the spotlight, and he's preparing like it. Sources inside Browns camp say he's already earning the respect of veterans, not by talking, but by outworking everyone around him. No shortcuts, no ego, just results. And that kind of quiet dominance, it's terrifying to the system. Because if a rookie with 0 NFL snaps can walk in and lead like a vet, what does that say about the league's old ways? Shedeur Sanders doesn't just want to win the job. He wants to rewrite the entire quarterback blueprint. Ryan Clark's prediction wasn't some hot take for clicks. It was a warning to the league, because if Shedeur Sanders keeps doing what he's doing, it won't be long before Cleveland has to hand him the keys. The Browns aren't a team with time to waste. They've got weapons, they've got talent, they've got a fan base desperate for a leader who won't fold under pressure. And if the veterans keep rallying behind Shedeur in practice, if he starts stacking wins in the preseason, the decision will become obvious, even to the most stubborn execs. Ryan Clark knows the game from the inside. He's watched locker rooms shift. He's seen how momentum builds around a young player who walks the walk. And that's exactly what's happening in Cleveland right now. Shedeur isn't waiting for his moment. He's creating it. He's showing up early, studying late, outworking every other QB on the roster, and most importantly, he's not trying to prove the doubters wrong. He's trying to prove the believers right. That's why Clark put his name on this prediction, because he sees something the numbers won't show: leadership, poise, control. And if the Browns are serious about winning, they'll stop looking at draft status, PR spin, or safe choices, and they'll start the one guy who's already acting like the face of the franchise. Ryan Clark didn't just analyze Shedeur Sanders. He issued a challenge to the Browns, to the league, to the old way of thinking. Because this isn't just about one quarterback battle. It's about a cultural shift that's already underway. Shedeur represents a new kind of player, media-trained, brand-savvy, mentally sharp, and already moving like a CEO before his rookie deal is even signed. He's the prototype of what tomorrow's NFL quarterback looks like, and that scares some. Not because he's flashy, but because he's focused. He's not caught up in the hype or the politics. He's not chasing headlines or begging for snaps. He's building a legacy, the same way he built Prime Prep, made history at Jackson State, and turned Colorado into must-see TV. Ryan Clark knows what greatness looks like before it explodes. And if he's betting on Shedeur, you should pay attention. Because when the season starts and the pressure mounts, the Browns will be forced to make a decision. Stick with what's safe, or hand the ball to a young QB who's already proven he can carry the weight of expectations and then some. And if they wait too long, they might miss the future standing right in front of them.